It builds and builds and builds, and by the
Yep.
finish line, it's one of the loudest races and loudest places where you will ever compete as an athlete in the sport of rowing. Two crews, so really talented crew from New Zealand. One of the things that this is preparing them for is this is the kind of group that is now working to prepare and enter the New Zealand system for the 2028-2032 Olympic cycles. So pretty exciting for these guys to get a chance to race internationally, and those black blades with the fern on them. We'll see how they can do. I got a start to this Windermere Cup Men's 8, New Zealand versus Washington, one of the strongest rowing nations around, one of the strongest collegiate programs around, going head-to-head for the Windermere Cup.
So the night sprints was a little telling. It's 600 meters in the opposite direction, starting in the cut, leaving the cut, and the Huskies got New Zealand, but that was just 600 meters. This is a very tight race.
This is a close one.
New Zealand
here.
has upped their game in this first 500.
Yeah, they saw that Husky start yesterday. They know what they got to do. We'll see these two crews. I like what we see. They're both close together. Very good high stroke rates. I'm going to try to check a quick rate check for the Huskies, about 47 strokes per minute there. New Zealand almost stroke for stroke. These two crews side by side. Really strong start for both of these crews. But we'll go through that New Zealand lineup really quick. Harry Malloy, Flynn Watson, your stroke man, Oliver Welch. Josh Vononovich is the sixth man. Zach Rumble, Ben Taylor, Campbell Crouch in the 3-seat, 2 seats, Cody Johnson, and bowman Henry Kirk, led by Coach Mike Roger. Good push by Washington when they set the pace there, when they hit that shift stroke, that settle stroke, Mary. That's a big stroke of the race, really powerful for Washington.
So first 500 meters is done, and so this second 500 meters, now they have to just let the boat go. They have to trust. I mean, it's raw power because you don't want to get ditched because it's just one other boat you're racing, but now is the time to own your rhythm because now it's time to get to work. It's middle 1,000, and it seems like the Huskies just need to relax just a little bit because they're in the lead. Just own it just a touch more, and then they'll get 2 more seats.
Yeah, but this New Zealand crew has the power and certainly has the capacity technically to keep up with Washington. We'll see. So, last week Washington trailed California early on. California hit that spot where you thought, oh, California could end this race. Washington with a fantastic response and move back in. There's your Husky lineup for you. Nick Dunlop is the coxswain. Ryan Smith in the stroke seat. Harry Fitzpatrick, Giuseppe Bellomo in the 6th seat. Sam Ford, Logan Ulrich, Jonathan Wagnorad in the 3-seat, Ben Short and Blake Vogel in the bow for the Huskies. Really strong move there in that second 500 meter for the Dogs.
For a while, I thought that the New Zealander boat, the boat on the left, was going to hold and maintain the speed of the Huskies, but the Huskies are just sneaky. They are just taking inches per drive. So New Zealand, they're in a very vulnerable situation right now, but we've seen it before. They've got the engine. They might not be as race prepped as the Huskies in terms of their season and their development, but the New Zealanders are in striking distance. The Huskies just have to still be brave, and we know they have closing speed.
They have closing speed, certainly. We saw one of the greatest demonstrations of closing speed that you've ever seen on the Montlake Cut came from these young men just last week when they rode through Cal in the final 200 meters of the race course. But there's the Kiwis in the Grand Challenger, the 1977 crew that went over and won at Henley. Really strong rhythm. I think if you're one of these young rowers that's raced earlier in the day and you get to watch this, watch the catch speed, watch the angle that these guys attack each stroke with. Great rowing from both of these crews. The Huskies, Nick Dunlop, your senior coxswain, urging. He's at that bow ball. He wants to stretch out to that next little step and see what the Huskies can do here. They know they have to have speed here for these final 2 races of the season when they hit the conference championship and the national championships.
So if I was in New Zealand, the next 10 strokes are going to be very pivotal. They're going to have to do something extra. They're going to have to go now just to maybe break momentum, maybe shake the Huskies. But at this point, I don't want to say the Huskies are on autopilot, but they know exactly where they are and they know what they have in the tank.
Yeah, Harry Malloy's going to have to really urge his guys on. They are not getting dropped by the Huskies. The Huskies are going to have to make that next shift up. We got those 3 Kiwis for the Huskies: Harry Fitzpatrick, Logan Ulrich, your Olympic silver medalist for New Zealand, and Ben Short. Those guys, one thing Logan spoke about a little bit this week was just he wants to have a little bit to hold over his countrymen come the World Cup season this summer. And as they are going, they are separating out from him just a little bit. Look at the great swing from both these crews. The Huskies there with the white tanks and New Zealand in the red. Both crews really powerful through the finish line now.
I like how there's a great shot right here from Nick Dunlap, the coxswain, and he is just holding that line. He is holding the middle, which has been unshakable, and I like how tall the Huskies are just sitting up, because now it's just to be super efficient, super horizontal. The Kiwis are coming back just a little bit, but the Huskies are in a very, very dominant position.
Good push in this final 500 meters for the Kiwis. We'll see. It's not going to be quite enough to catch Washington on the day. A little peek around from the 3-man to see where that finish line is. Coming away with the Windermere Cup. There's Washington with the win over New Zealand. A good race, solid race for those two teams. So good race by New Zealand, challenging Washington, not letting Washington get to the point where they were comfortable the whole way down the race course.
And from the last weekend of racing with the Cal Duel to now upgrading to the Kiwis, I think the Huskies are really, really owning this first 1,000, because they know that that second 1,000 is one of their greatest strengths. So now it's just like special teams time. Special teams, what I call it, is the first 500, closing speed, and you know that they just don't slow down in the 1,000, middle 1,000.
So Coach Callahan's got to be pretty psyched with that race for those guys, coming away 1.4 seconds ahead of New Zealand. There's your unofficial times: 5:30.139 for the Dogs, 5:31.57 for New Zealand. So as Mary spoke about, just times a little different than last week, little different conditions. It's a colder day today for sure, but that wind has shifted to being more of a tailwind coming off Lake Washington. Last weekend when against Cal, we saw that wind kind of turning down the cut, lengthening out the race a little bit versus California.
Yeah, I mean, the Kiwis, you can tell they didn't let the Huskies off the hook at the first 500. They closed the gap compared to the night sprints last night. But that was the difference. Like the first 600 where they just got that second 500, I think, was the game changer.
Yeah.
Second 500 was definitely where the Huskies separated themselves, and then I don't want to say defend, because it wasn't like they were reactive to the Kiwis, because they were just plan A, putting their heads down, getting to work.
But great shots of the finish line there. You can see the bow ball of the Kiwi boat right on about the footboards of the 5-man.
I love it when the first place crew, the Huskies, like the hands are halfway up. They're like celebrating, but they're so dead tired. They sold their souls during that race, and that's what you want to see.
Yeah, so good effort by the Huskies, great effort by New Zealand.